engineering talks about aeroplanes and the vehicles that takes us into the vehicles that take us into the space as well. Aeroplanes, keep in mind, I can go from Coimbatore to Bangalore by an aeroplane. I can go from Coimbatore to Chennai. I can go from Delhi to Calcutta by an aeroplane, but I cannot go to moon in an aeroplane, right? So aeroplanes cannot operate in space. Why? Because there is no air in. I just explained the whole thing based on air being taken in, right? There is no air outside the atmosphere. So the branch of engineering which covers aeroplanes and rockets. As you know, for space travel, you require rockets. So the branch of engineering that covers both studies of aeroplanes as well as rockets is typically called aerospace engineering. Aerospace engineering also addresses like space flight and satellites and things like that, which are all outside the Earth's atmosphere. That is aerospace engineering. Whereas aeronautical engineering confines itself into aeroplanes. That is, whatever happens within the atmosphere. That is primarily aeroplanes, helicopters, etc. So that's a difference. Aerospace engineering covers both aeroplanes as well as rockets, whereas aeronautical engineering is confined to aeroplanes. In fact, I just gave a cursory view of what happens to the flight of an aircraft. There are several things involved in it. One is, which I have already mentioned, about the engine. So what are the components of an engine, and how do they work? How are they designed? And what are the fundamental physics or fundamental laws that you should know? This all form the study of engines. This is a part of aeronautical engineering. Now, another part which I have not mentioned about at all is related to the structure of the aeroplane. Look at the body of the aeroplane. It's very complex actually. The materials required for them, they should be strong enough, they should be sturdy enough, and at the same time they should not be too heavy, because you have to move in the air, right? So it cannot be too heavy. So the branch which considers all these aspects, that is structural aspects of the aeroplane, that also is part of aeronautical engineering. Now, another stream of topics are related to the control of the aeroplane. How do they move forward? How do the pilot control it? Actually, one of the series that, or one of the lectures that we have planned in this series, hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so, will try to give an insight on how the aeroplane is getting controlled. So the whole system of controlling an aeroplane, that is another branch of, or there is another discipline that comes under aeronautical engineering. So all these are topics that come under the aircraft engine. The topics related to the structures, the control, the engine, the overall aerodynamics, the flow pattern, etc. These are all for topics under aeronautical engineering. Aerospace, when you say aerospace industry, obviously the operation of rockets, manufacturing of them, the technology related to the rockets and the satellites, etc., they are all part of aerospace industry. Whereas aviation industry, the way that we typically use them is limited to aircraft, helicopters, etc. So that could be even not just passenger aircraft, the military aircraft, their manufacturing, their design, their construction, and then airline companies. So we know about Air India, all this, say Indigo. These are all parts of aviation industry. They don't make aeroplanes, but they fly aeroplanes, right? So they operate aeroplanes. So they are all part of, so the transport, air transport, that's a part of aviation industry. Making of aeroplanes, that's a part of that's a part of aerospace industry. Designing of them, manufacturing, all these are part of aeroplane, or sorry, I'm sorry, I think I told it wrongly. All these are all part of aviation industry. Whereas aerospace will be a broader, actually these are all part of aerospace also, but it also includes whatever, as we mentioned earlier, rockets, satellites, etc. So that's roughly that's the way that you can differentiate between aviation and aerospace segments of industry.